our Sri Lanka history in the 75 years, the first time workshop, the FIFA workshop conducted here last 2 days, and 12 countries participate, South and Central Asia. And I'm honored to the FIFA and AFC to support a lot to develop in Sri Lanka, the financial assistance and the technical and referees and development, especially infrastructure. And I'm very happy, and I special thank for the FIFA. And I have to mention our FIFA president, Joseph Sepp Blatter, and our AFC president, Sheikh Salman bin Al Khalifa.
Spent a few days here to discuss, it's part of a process we have started a year ago to meet all our 209 member associations through these different seminars, and with two objectives. The first one is to discuss development, to discuss the new development regulations, to discuss the new development programs we have at FIFA, but also to discuss about the reform process we went through over the last 2 years at FIFA, to discuss about these new regulations we have within FIFA, to discuss about these new structures we have at FIFA, talking about the ethics committee, talking about the new audit and compliance committee, talking about, again, all what was important to achieve within FIFA's institution in order to protect our institution, in order to protect football at FIFA. We discussed about development of football in Sri Lanka.
In future, we amend our statutes according to the Sri Lanka sports law and FIFA model constitution. They already, all 209 associations, same model constitution. Now we discuss in the FIFA, in future high officials come to the Sri Lanka, we amend the statute. Sri Lankan sports law, they are the general secretary. Now in the minister, they agreed in the football. In future, the general secretary or CEO appointed with the same platform working with the president. Sometimes they elect the president, sometimes the opponent party elect the general secretary. They have some dispute. We have to appoint, work with the president.
Because it takes time. I think that it's a long run to develop football in a country, and what the team of the Sri Lanka Football Federation is doing by focusing on grassroots and focusing on getting facilities within the country and not just a part of the country, but all the country, is the only one way to succeed. So it's a long journey. But I think that since now, I would say a year, the way we are working together, and I involve AFC, not just FIFA and Sri Lanka, with AFC, is the right way to succeed. I'm not saying that Sri Lanka will qualify for the World Cup 2018. It will take a bit more time. But the goal is to make sure that Sri Lanka is playing the under-17, the under-20 FIFA World Cup competitions or World Cups, and that we see this region playing at the highest level. It's true that football is not the number one sport here. I mean, cricket is before us, and I even understood that rugby took over on football. I mean, all sports are good, all sports important. For our kids to play sport, to be in a sport, is the most important thing. So we are not competing against any sport, football. But we definitely think that there is a base and a ground in Sri Lanka and in the region to have a stronger football, and that's what we are working on. So it will take time, but we have in place the right level of commitment and the right level of structure now. And as President Rodrigo said, I was very happy with the commitment from the sports minister, who is really keen and supporting the development of football, and we'll work together in order to succeed. No, what I said is that we are not expecting, or I'm not expecting to see Sri Lanka necessarily qualifying for the World Cup. What I'm saying is that the goal should be to qualify for the under-17 and under-20 tournament. And I'm not saying that it has to happen. I mean, you know that we have under-17 in 2 years' time in India. We have the under-17 World Cup in 2017 in India. Yeah, 2017. So we will have other tournaments in the region, and we are trying to bring our tournaments in the different zones or in different confederations. And what I'm saying is that if you want to be good, you need to have a good youth teams. If you want to play the highest level in football, you have to have a strong under 17, under 20 teams. When you look at the different countries, if you look at different Asian countries where they develop football, and I mean we talked about earlier today, so that's why I will mention South Korea. I mean, they develop very strong football, and not just football, men football, also women football. So you need to work on all the aspects, all the level of football, and that's what we are working on with Sri Lanka, is to develop football and to make sure that there is a strong base of football players in Sri Lanka. They have strong youth football teams, and then there will be, you will see on the near future, then a very strong national team. And that's the way it works. The way it works is to build, and it's not just to create from scratch a team. That's never a success.
Normally the European team, Liverpool, Manchester, they come to the Asian countries, Hong Kong, India, we have to pay more money, right? And we can invite to the European team to come to play the friendly match. Now my team not extend play with Liverpool or Barcelona or Real Madrid. Now in future we'll see. We have to first improve my team in football and come to the ranking. We have to go up, and when my team come to the professional. Now actually we before we played on the amateur. Now we changed from last year we semi-professional. Now we have to come to the professional football. We have to start. When you start the professional football, my team strength is high. We can invite, but we have to get collection and sponsors. We have to gather, and we have to stakeholders. We have to improve our sponsors. In future, we'll see another 4-5 years.
The exposure, the AFC has actually given a lot of exposure to member associations. You know, the AFC organizes the qualifying competitions. We have the under-14 qualifying competitions for boys and girls. We have the under-16 qualification for boys and girls. We have the under-19 for boys and girls. And these qualifications are qualifications for the World Cup, the FIFA under-17 and as well as the FIFA under-20. So this kind of exposure is always provided. Like you see, next month, you will see the President's Cup being played here in Colombo. The Football Federation of Sri Lanka has taken that initiative to host the President's Cup. And the President's Cup is a club competition. AFC has an elite club competition. We all know it's the Champions League. We have the AFC Cup competition, and now we have the President's Cup. The President's Cup are for all the developing countries like Sri Lanka. For the youth, as I said, you have different levels of competitions. Associations like Sri Lanka, India, Bhutan, all the associations in this region are given a fair opportunity to bid to host. So there is a committee in AFC which decides who to give. Right? There is also a rotation process. At one point of time, we do it in the South region, then we go to the Central region, then we go to the ASEAN region, we go to the West region, to the East region. So there is a continuity, a process where we provide a lot of exposure for our member association.
I will not be sitting here if there was any problem. Again, I mean, you know that there was some more difficult time, or there was some period where it was, I mean, Sri Lanka football came through a difficult situation, but we have been working well over the last 12 months, definitely. And with President Rodrigo, we agreed on the road to follow to succeed to develop football. So, as I said, football lost a bit in Sri Lanka, and that's what we have as a goal, a common goal between FIFA, Sri Lanka Football Federation, to make sure that we bring back football to the right level. Because we understood FIFA also that it's a wish from the kids in Sri Lanka to play football, and we have to give them this opportunity to play football. Not for all of them to become stars, not for all of them to play either in Sri Lanka or any other part of the world, but just because football is such easy game. And football, I mean, Sri Lanka watched the World Cup, and the World Cup was quite a great success in Sri Lanka and in the region and in all Asia. I mean, we breached new records in Asia with this World Cup 2014 in Brazil. So there is a need. I mean, that's our duty, that's our obligation, that's our commitment. We FIFA, we have two main goals. I would say one is to organize competitions, the World Cup itself and all the other competitions to develop football around the world. But the second goal, which is even more important, is to develop football everywhere. And to make sure that football remains this beautiful sport. The third part is more about to protect our game against match fixing, corruption, doping, and all this part which is new, I would say, it happens in the last 5 years. But the main goal is, and that's why the first budget, I mean, we have $1 billion. We are spending $1 billion every 4 years. We are spending, I think, close to $550,000 US per day to develop football around the world. So it's not something small. It's a huge commitment and a huge responsibility. And with President Rodrigo, and I have to say again, with the sports minister, we have the right people to talk to and to interact in order to succeed. You know, when there is a mistake, it's never the mistake of one. When there is a problem in a couple, it's never just the problem of one of the person of the couple. So maybe there was, and that's why we went through a very high level of reforms within FIFA, and we increase, and that's one of the goals of this seminar, we increase the level of regulations for the development programs, just to make sure that there is more monitoring of the situation, more monitoring of the way money is spent, and a higher level of control within FIFA, with the new Audit and Compliance Committee, but also within the member associations. And that's something we discussed with President Rodrigo, to make sure that whatever is implemented within FIFA has to be implemented within the national associations. When we are talking about audit and compliance, it has to be also at the level of the member associations. I mean, they have to control the way the money is received and the money is spent. We are controlling now all the money which is given to all the member associations, but even we are doing the same with our confederations. We have audit every year on a number of member associations, and we also have an audit on the confederations.